I'm over here filling in for you.
Oh, shit. What's up, guys? This is your girl, Chanel West Coast.
And this is Colleen Witt with Eating While Broke.
Yup.
So today we are going to be having Chanel West Coast. What are you cooking for us today?
I'm cooking a quesadilla. I'm not the best cook, but, you know, I could whip up a good quesadilla.
Okay.
So I'm making a quesadilla with pepper jack cheese, butter, and tapatio.
Now that the landscape for women rappers is way more competitive, and I'm not sure if you're still signed to Young Money or you.
No, I'm independent.
Oh, congrats.
But that's a whole long story. I was never like officially signed. I was like Young Money by affiliation, and Wayne like gave me the cosign. What the hell is that?
That's the peppers.
Oh shit, that's a big that's a big pepper. I was like, what's in the cheese? Anyways, yeah, so Wayne gave me the cosign, and then there was just all these complications with my deal getting done, and it was held up forever, and I kept getting all these excuses from like the lawyers and my old management, and I don't know, it was just like, I guess not the right timing or whatever, but like me and Wayne are still cool.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, I'm independent. I like fully fund everything I do and like make all my own decisions and all that.
That's awesome. And there's a lot of like behind the scenes that you have to deal with. Especially with like cash flow, right? I would imagine.
Oh yeah, like and the pandemic that made it even harder because normally like as an independent artist, it's actually, I mean, I love it because I don't have to pay anybody back. You know what I mean? Like when I do these gigs, the money goes in my pocket, like or the, you know, my agents, whoever books the gig or whatever. But yeah, when you're with the label, they get a huge piece of everything you do, and so I feel that I'm like really smart with how much I spend and how much I make back. Like, you know what I mean? So during the pandemic, that's when it got a little hard because it was like, I wanted to put out my album that year. I'm like, this is a great year to put out music. You know, people are at home. All eyes are like ready. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, this is a great time to put out music, but there was no gigs. So I'm putting all this money into videos and photo shoots and studios time and, you know, stuff like that. And so I had to invest a lot, and then I wasn't able to make as much back. So now I'm like trying to...
Because you were releasing it even through the pandemic.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a tricky situation.
Yeah, because I realized the pandemic was a good time to put out music. Yeah. Especially because people who were signed to labels were a little bit held up, probably, because things were shut down. So I'm like, okay, I'm independent. Nobody's holding me back. I need to drop this now while everybody's at home, like, needing new content. So it was a good time to invest in myself, I feel like, and invest in my music. Just now I got to recoup and like get all these gigs and get the money back, you know?
Yeah. So that's a lot of like behind the scenes business stuff. Now, was there ever a point in your career where you like, that's it, I may just tap out? Like,
I wouldn't say there's been times where I'm like, I don't want to pursue. I will always make music as a hobby. Like, that's just what I do. Like, I've been writing poetry, making little songs since I was a kid, like, for fun. Like, it's what I do. It's like what I do when I'm bored. Like, it's my hobby. But there was a part of me that at one point I was like, I don't want to pursue this and keep putting money into this. You know, like, make songs for fun. Maybe just put them out on SoundCloud. Like, who cares? You know what I mean? Not even try type thing. Yeah. There was a time when I started to feel like that, and I was like, I should invest all my money into real estate and do other you know, business ventures. And I'm like, no, you know what? I can still invest in real estate, still do other things, and still invest in my music. There's a time and place for everything, you know? So it's just about spacing it all out the right way, you know what I mean? Yeah.
And you still tape Ridiculousness?
Yep, nonstop.
Nonstop? Like, what does your schedules look like?
Like we film 6 episodes a day, 3 days a week. So, like, yesterday I did 6 episodes. Tomorrow I do 6 episodes. And then then I'm off for 2 weeks. And then we go back to filming again.
And now you don't film all year. Is it like 2 weeks out the year or 3 weeks?
No, we film all year.
No way.
Yeah. Like, it's like I'm off 2 weeks, then I film 2 weeks. Then I'm off 2 weeks, then I film 2 weeks. Then I'm off 2 weeks. which for trying to travel anywhere abroad, not easy. I've basically never been fucking anywhere.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because it's like when I finally travel, I want to travel and like be able to see Europe and all these places. Like I don't want to go for like 2 days.
Yeah.
You know? And now with COVID and getting tests to go to all these different countries and like, you know, yeah, it's a lot.
So where have you traveled so far?
In my life?
Yeah.
Mexico, Scotland, the Philippines, Spain.
Scotland sounds interesting.
Scotland was interesting. It looked real old. There was castles everywhere. Like,
what?
Yeah, like literally there's like all these castles that you can rent on like Airbnb. Like they're literally little castles, but a lot of them don't have electricity and stuff.
Oh, no, yeah.
But yeah, their streets are like all cobblestone. What? It looks like you're, you know, like in the past.
Back in time.
Yeah.
And so in the industry, as far as girls, do you feel like the women support you?
I definitely have a lot of woman artist friends. Do all of them? No. That's for sure. Yeah. I feel like Nikki is kind of hardcore. Like I'd be semi-afraid of her in real life. 'Cause her ego, so. Yeah, no, I wouldn't say I'd be afraid of her in real life. I stood on stage next to her at the BET Awards one time and slightly nudged her shoulder out my way, so definitely wasn't scared of her.
Hey, I like that.
Yeah, no, you know, I think it's really important as a woman artist to support other women artists, and there are some that are just a little bit more catty and that are more competitive and like whatever, like that's cool. They can be like that, you know. So like everybody has their own personality. Yeah.
So where do you want to go next from here?
Definitely. I mean, I'm at a point in my life, especially after the pandemic, where I think just being healthy and happy are the two most important things. And and healthy, I mean, like physically and mentally. You know what I mean? Like those are the two most important things to me at this point. So I don't want to do anything that's going to like make me stressed out or give me anxiety, or like I get anxiety real easy. So it's you know, it's just a point in my life where it's like, it's not worth the extra stress. I'm going to keep making music. I'm going to keep doing me, but I'm not going to like overly stress about things like I used to. And I'm just kind of like going with the flow now.
Did you go through any type of like depression during the pandemic, or were you like just having fun?
It was more anxiety than depression, because I feel like I used the time wisely and I liked having that time off. I was like, okay, this is great to have this time to like really focus on my craft. And like, you know, I was because we couldn't get nails done for like 3 months. So I used to play violin. So while I didn't have my acrylics, I was like, let me just get on the violin again now that I don't got these nails.
Oh, wow.
But as soon as the nail salon opened back up, I was like, oh, put the violin away. But yeah, you know, like it was fun to use that time. And I didn't get really depressed, but I did get a little bit of anxiety because I like to be around people. And I, you know, just felt like I was just like in my house so much that I started to go a little bit crazy.
You didn't have any like friend secret get-togethers?
Oh, we had a few.
Okay. Now, in the beginning of the pandemic, when everything first started, were you like, I don't know if I believe this, or were you one of those people that were like, I believe it 100%?
I went through my phases. The first couple of weeks, I was like cleaning doorknobs. Like I was like literally like so scared. I was like, this is like the zombie apocalypse or something. No, I was one of those people. I did like hoard toilet paper. I was like,
no, you
stack
weren't.
up the tuna. Like I was like, like I was like, this is the apocalypse. I didn't know what the hell was going on. And I am pretty sure I had COVID before the lockdown.
Oh.
And so I had it like a month before that. Made it through it. It was like, I thought I was gonna die though. Mm-hmm. And so once the lockdown happened and I knew what was going on, I was like I felt like I was a liability or something too. I was like, I gotta stay inside. Like I was like, I feel like I was a super spreader when I had it, because I'm one of those people that works through being sick. So when I had it, it was a weird sickness. It went through like a couple phases. So I went to a video shoot. I went to a photo shoot. Like,
did you tape Ridiculousness?
No, I didn't tape Ridiculousness until.
Because I was gonna say, hey guys, if you got sick during that time.
No, but like a couple people from the video shoot I did and from the photo shoot had got sick. And they told me later when I told them, I said, yeah, I think I had it around then. They're like, girl, a couple people got sick after that. I think you were spreading it. And so I definitely was like at the beginning of the pandemic, like super on lockdown, like all. And then I'm not going to lie, I heard this Burger King commercial and that shit tripped me out. And I was like, they're trying to brainwash us. I was like, they're trying.
Burger?
So I'm cleaning my house, and I hear on the Burger King commercial, they go, America needs you to stay on your couch. I was like, what? Okay, stay inside, that's one thing.
Yeah.
Keep your social distance, that's another thing. Stay on your couch. Those lines hit me hard because I'm like, you know, I might have relaxed a little bit during the pandemic, but I was still staying busy, staying on my grind, like using this time. And I'm like, stay on the couch. And I was like, there's something going on. They're trying to keep us at home and keep us lazy. Like, I was like, they're trying to make us sick. It's a Burger King commercial saying, stay on your couch, you know, like, so I don't know. I just started being like, okay, maybe this is like some weird thing to like, I don't know. Like, I'm, you know, not a conspiracy theorist, but I was just like, I just started questioning things, you know, and I also just was like,
that looks good.
Yeah, I think it's done.
Good. Feed me now. Feed me, Chanel.
Yeah, you know, I went through my phases.
Awesome. This looks so good.
I definitely made sure to stay healthy and like.
You worked out a lot?
Worked out a lot. I was juicing, taking vitamins. I was following like all the rules. I get tested a lot for work too, so it's like I constantly know that I'm negative. You know, like we're getting tested when we film like every like 48 hours. So. Yeah,
I went through the pandemic and I thought I was gonna survive not catching COVID, and then I randomly took my cousin in, who like many went through like a breakup. There, that's all I'm doing. I'm not bold.
Look,
any bolder than that.
You're gonna think I'm crazy. I know.
Oh my goodness.
Like,
it's not hot. Oh jeez. Well, if you end up choking up on the show, just know I may laugh. I'm one of those people, like, if you get hurt, I'm laughing.
No, that's fine. Okay, keep going. I'm listening.
But yeah, I had caught COVID, and I knew immediately because there was like body aches and fever, and I started having all these symptoms, and I was like, oh, I can't believe I caught it. And my cousin at the time was like, you don't have it. And I was like, dude, you need to get tested, because he came in sick. And then I tested positive, and I was like, oh. And I was apart from my husband at the time. I'm like, oh, I didn't see him for a month. Now I got to go longer.
That sucks.
And I was like counting down the days till I can be COVID free, you know? But when it first happened, I thought like the economy, I was like, there's no way they can lock down all these businesses and all this stuff. I was actually shocked that that was possible. Obviously, I failed history. You know, because apparently in history they did it again. You know, all of a sudden you were researching when the pandemic hit, like, did this ever happen before? Yeah.
No, it's happened.
Yeah. But I didn't really take it serious until, like, my money started to disappear, and I was like, okay, you know, can I get a job somewhere?
No, it's like, that's another thing. Yeah, it's been hard to see, like, I've seen, it's good. You like it? Thank you.
Thank you for feeding me. And it's like hot, but I don't know if it's the cheese that's hot or the tapatio. So have you had like men just do some ridiculously over the top stuff when you're trying to get business done, or try to push you around?
What do you mean?
It's hot.
Yeah, be careful. I really like spicy stuff. I'm probably over here like dripping tapatio.
Like even for me, and as a woman in business, like sometimes you have to, for lack of a better word, like become a bitch just to get some kind of respect or get a job done. And it's like you have to turn all the way up because they think you're soft. Do you have to deal with that a lot, or?
Let's just say that I've always been like a tomboy too, so I've had like a lot of like guy friends. Like I've never until I was like 25, I didn't really like notice sexism. I didn't like see it was a thing, and then things started to occur to me like, oh, that's sexist. Oh, that's sexist. And then once I started to realize that I was experiencing things like that, it started to build up. You know, like I'm good at like maneuvering through the business and like keeping my mouth shut when I need to, doing whatever. But there has been times where I've had to really speak up, and be like, this situation's sexist, and it's not easy to do that, you know, especially because it's like I've heard people be like, oh, this person, you know, they act crazy about a guy, like, you know, that's a celebrity or whatever, but that's how he, like, you know, like that's like how he makes the magic happen or something. And it's like, okay, but if a girl were to act crazy like that, they'd call her a diva. You know what I mean? But so like I think that there's like these double standards, and I don't know. I have had to kind of find my voice to speak up a couple times. Like,
that's I think a difficult balance for women. I think with the Me Too movement, it is great, but then there's also like always a catch to every great thing where it's like we don't want to abuse the power either. But then again, I think guys are now terrified to even like look at a girl's butt or something. They're like, I don't want to compliment you. Is it okay?
No. Literally, there is people like that, and I'm like, yeah, it's fine. Like, I don't mind somebody telling me I look pretty. Like,
yeah,
you know, as long as you're not weird about it. Like, sniffing my ear at the same time or something.
Yeah. What was like something you invested in that didn't pan out the way you wanted it, and you felt that hit?
I had one little venture I started with my friend, and really, we both had high hopes. You know, she's not a single mom. She's a mom with 2 kids, and she has a 9-to-5 job. And I'm really busy myself. But we had wanted to start like a jewelry line, and we invested some time and money into it, and it didn't pan out. But I think it's because we really both didn't have the time that each of us needed to put into it, you know? And that was one thing that did like not really pan out. It kind of failed, but from that I learned, okay, with the next thing I start, after that, the next thing I did start was my clothing line, LOL Cartel, and that's done much better. And I didn't make the same mistakes, and you know.
Do you think time is more important than money when it comes to business?
What do you mean exactly?
Like, you were saying, like, when you and your friend did this, you guys invested, but you didn't really have the time to invest into it. Do you think your time is more important than the actual capital that you put in? Yeah,
well, time is definitely important. It doesn't matter how much money you have if you're not going to take the time to do what you have to do to promote it or to send the packages out when people make the orders, you know? So there's got to be the follow-up, you know what I'm saying? So it's important to have the right team and the right structure around you when you're starting a business like that. And that's what I realized, and I've told her too, for the future, if we start another thing together, like, we just need to make sure we have more hands on deck instead of trying to take on so much ourselves when we don't have the time for it, you know?
Yeah. But I think it's cool that you guys you kind of did learn that lesson, because sometimes people look at like celebrities or, you know, and they say, oh, well, you're rich, you have this huge big team, and it's like, no, right?
No, I didn't come from any big team. Like, I was like telling I forgot his name. What's the guy who walked me in here? What's his name?
Drew.
I was telling Drew when he was walking us in here, I was like, yo, I said, when we were kids, I said, we used to know, like, you don't get caught shoplifting at Panorama City Mall.
Why?
Like, because it was just easier here. Like, the other malls, like, all...
Oh, you mean you just don't get caught here?
Yeah, like, here's, like, an easy place to... Well, like, as a kid, I don't steal anymore, obviously. That would be great. I'm not Winona Ryder, okay? No, that would be crazy if I was still out here stealing. But, as a kid, though, like, you know, me and my friends, we were all, like, broke kids. A lot of us single parents, and... You know, as kids, too, you want things. There's like, oh, let me steal that shirt or whatever. Like, so, like, we were a little bit of, like, little badasses when we were kids. But, yeah, so, like, I don't come from nothing. And same with my friends. And that's why I wanted to start that with my friend Roxy. Because, you know, like, we all started from the bottom and come from nothing. And I really do, like, you know, even with projects I'm working on now that are still in the works, like, I want to see, like, my girl Danielle, who's here with me, that's been my homie since high school, too, like, you know, I want to do, I want to put on, like, whatever real friends. Yeah. And that's also been a challenge, is figuring out who's real and who's not. But all my real, genuine friends, like, I want to be able to help them in any way I can. Like, you know, like, if they have a dream and, like, there's some way I could help, like, I want to help them, you know?
Did you ever have any real friends switch up on you?
Yes.
And when I say switch up, like, do they become weird after you make it, or do you think they're just all of a sudden they're like opportunity? Like, how does it look?
It's crazy. Like, it's happened over the past year and a half, actually. It's like I feel like I've just been cutting people off left and right, like split ends, like just like out of here. really what it is like, I think that they, like, the craziest thing is people tell me I don't support them enough or something. Like, and I'm like, what more did, like, it's like, I like, if I see the picture, I like it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I saw it, I liked it. Like, it takes 5 seconds to like. I'm a very giving liker when it comes to the likes, you know? So, in my opinion, if I'm liking or commenting ever, like, that's support, you know? I can't sit here and, like, hold your hand and, like, you know, it's like I don't even want to get into it because I don't know if they're
actually
gonna be
call
watching.
you and be like, hey, did you like this?
No, just like people just saying that I haven't supported them enough or something.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm a very supportive friend.
Yeah.
I've let people live with me for free and, like, you know, done lots of nice things for people, and somehow still I feel like it's not enough. People want more. They want you to do more for them. And then also, like, just people trying to say, like, things about you that aren't true, which is the craziest thing I've dealt with. I never thought that people that I could be friends with, like, since childhood, could start saying just, like, things about your character and stuff that, like, are not true. And I'm like, yo, this is getting out of hand. Like,
but who would they say it to? Like, your other friends?
Just to other, mutual friends. You know, LA is a small world like that. Like, it's very, like, it's so funny how spread out it is here, but then, like, things travel so fast here. Yeah. I think it's even worse than New York. In New York, it's like you're on this small little freaking island, and, like, and there's a boroughs, and they're all close. It's so close together, but things don't spread like that there. No. Here, it's so spread out. Like, we're, you know, LA's a big city, and things travel fast here. And people, I've heard, just like that's why I started cutting people off. I heard this person said that. I'm like, what?
Do you call them out though, and you're like, hey, did you say it? No.
Yes.
Or
or
like, they double down, like, yeah, I said it.
It's just crazy, and I'm like, you know, I didn't think people could just, like, it's like kind of delusional. Like, they're in their head thinking things that are not true. You know what I mean? Like, so that's where I'm at. Like, is like, I'm just trying to figure out who's real and who's not. And I definitely have some really good, genuine girlfriends, like, who've been there since day one, and guy friends. But there's been a couple people who are, like, just bad seeds that I had to get rid of.
Yeah, I've gone through some of that recently, even with family. Sometimes family switches up. And that's difficult because, you know, and I think a part of maturing is, like, figuring out how to set those boundaries and when to set them and not feel bad about them. Like, do you ever feel bad afterwards? Like, oh, man, I feel so bad.
A little, but also, like I said, I'm at that point where it's like, I just want to be happy and healthy and mentally healthy, and whatever is gonna be good for my mental wellness, that's what I have to do. And, you know, it is what it is.
It is what it is. I always wonder, like, if I send a DM to someone, like, I really, you know, like, there's some entrepreneurs online, I'm like, hey, you know, would you want to come check out Eating While Broke? And of course, it's a weird thing to say. But I always wonder if they're actually reading it or
some people do.
It, you know?
I mean, I can't read everything, especially because Instagram, which, like, I don't know if somebody who works for them is watching this, but my DMs do this weird thing where, like, for example, it'll be, like, 1 million messages from an hour ago, 2 hours ago, 3 hours ago, 4, and then all of a sudden after 7 hours ago, it jumps to, like, 3 days ago. And I'm like, where'd the messages go that whole time, you know? So I lose a lot of messages, and I don't know why. It's this, like, weird Instagram error. So because once I noticed that, I started checking them even more, because I'm like, well, dang, I guess I got to check my messages nonstop just to catch things, you know? So once I noticed that, now I check it even more, but I didn't used to check it that much. I would just try to do, like, a quick scroll through. If I see a couple nice ones, repost them, or you know, try to reply to a couple nice ones, and see if maybe anybody pop in with a blue check, try to slide in my DMs. I am looking for a husband, you know, so occasionally I'll check, but, like.
So you think you would consider someone, like, a guy that slid into your DMs?
It depends who it is.
And it depends what he says, I guess, too.
Yes, there's been a lot of crazies, so that I had to be like, no, I'm not giving you a chance.
What advice would you give to someone that is trying to pursue the entertainment industry? Like, knowing everything you've been through, the ups, the downs, what keeps you on track? Like, what advice have you clung to?
No, I wouldn't say the number one thing. I mean, there's definitely a few things, but
name them. You can say them all.
First of all, I would say it's important to never get ahead of yourself and think, like, you're such a superstar that you don't need a regular job. That's number one.
I agree with that.
Okay.
100% agree with that.
I feel like a lot of people, and that's, like, a couple of these friends who switched up, you know, maybe made some weird comments, like, oh, well, you had everything handed to you. What the fuck? I'm like, oh, well, you met Rob. And then it was like, eh. I'm like, I sat there on MySpace adding people all day long. That's what got me to Rob. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, people just like, anyways, I got lost in my thought again because I just got so mad thinking about that.
But I do agree with the day job thing. Like a lot of, like, while we're doing Eating While Broke, a lot of people don't know this. Like, I have a day job.
Yeah.
I have my side hustle, and then I have this, and I'm sure when this comes out, people are gonna be like, okay, this just fell out the sky. It's like, no, I still have somebody.
Yeah.
Still trying to manage all this.
Yeah, no, and people don't realize you can't, like, I always worked hard. Like, when I was in season 2 Fantasy Factory, it was a lot of filming, and MTV did not pay that well. Yeah. Like, it was like almost like, yo, these hours and this money, this doesn't add up. I was like, this is crazy. So I had to get a part-time job, and like,
wow, while you were taping.
Yeah, while I was taping. Yeah. And that's also one of the first things that I was like, okay, I think I'm getting famous or something. Because, like, I'd be at work folding T-shirts at a clothing store, and they'd be like, can I get a picture with you? And I'm like, look at my boss. I'm like, can I take a picture with him, bro? my boss, like, one day he's like, Chanel, he's like, I think you're, like, getting kind of popular. Like, maybe you should, like, do some other things or something. He's like, I don't think you belong in, like, the clothing store. And I was like, but I need this money. Like, I'm trying to get money. Like, so, like, no matter what, I always was, like, even sometimes now, I'm like, there'll be days or two off, and I'm like, dang, I wish I had some sort of hustle to do. I was like, maybe I should get my real estate license. Like, like, it's just, like, I like to work, and I like to hustle, and I think that that sometimes people think, oh, there's such a star that they don't have to, like, work, and they think, like, oh, maybe I'm so talented or I'm so cute, you know, that I don't have to work. And you should never be like that. You always got to put in this. You got to match the work with your talent and with your cuteness, and you know what I'm saying. I think a lot of people get ahead of themselves. I've seen it. That's the advice I give to, like, a lot of my young friends I see coming up in Hollywood. Like, they get a following, and next thing you know, they're like, no job, like, just like work. And I'm like, yo, like, keep a little day job, keep a side thing, like,
you still need money.
Yes, save up some money, and, like, have, like, a little bit of a foundation just in case something doesn't work out, you know? Like, yeah, especially here in LA, people really get ahead of
they do fast, especially if they get one gig or something. They're like off to the whatever land. What's your second piece? Because I know you said you had a couple.
Oh yeah. Wait, take it back. What was the question again? So
it was like knowing everything that you had been through.
I would also say that if you want to be in this industry, you have to have thick skin. You got to be tough. Like, it's like, I always knew, like, getting into this, like, I knew before I even had, like, the online hater and stuff, I'm like that job comes with craziness. You know what I mean? Like, even just from, like, when, like, when we were younger, seeing all the stuff in, like, TMZ in the media was, like Lindsay Lohan and, like, Britney Spears, all these people, like, paparazzi constantly following them and attacking them. Like, you have to be ready for that. Like, yeah. And you can't be soft. Like, even a couple times I've seen certain celebrities, like, complain about, and I have too myself, like, I get it, but that's why I try to hold myself back as much as I can about talking about the haters, because it's like, yo, I signed up for this. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like, you gotta have thick skin, and I think it goes back to the ignoring the haters thing. Yeah. Be able to ignore all the hate and just stay focused.
Yeah. I have a couple influencers that are friends, but one time I was hanging out and they were showing me the DMs of hatred, and it's like, kill yourself. When I see you, I'm gonna kill you. And it's like, people DM this, and there's dead serious, and then the influencer, like, jokes back, like, so what'd you eat today?
Like
random stuff.
Yeah, that's the funniest when you reply like that.
Yeah, and the guy was just clearly getting more upset, and I just could not believe, like, that was a regular thing, like, how mean and vicious they are. Like, they don't know what kind of day you're having when they're doing this. I also thought his response was probably infuriating him even more. Yeah. But yeah, so those two. Is there any other ones?
I mean, there's so many tips I could give people. Like,
I think the first two are.
Yeah, those are two solid ones. And then another thing too, like, I mean, I've definitely said I just slide in people's DMs. So, like, you gotta do things in a strategic way. You don't want to ever be annoying. Yeah. You don't want to be crazy. Like, if you make a connection with somebody that's, like, more famous than you, like, be very careful with that connection, you know? Like, don't bug that person. Don't blow them up. I think that's why Rob asked me to be on a show. Like, I had this guy's number for months. I didn't annoy the fuck out of him. You know what I mean? Like I think that and then there's other situations too where, like, from artists I've worked with, you know, like I got their number. I waited for a while to hit them up, and then I was like, what's up with a feature? You know what I mean? Like, you've got to, like, approach people the right way, and sometimes people can be overbearing and annoying, and those people scare me away, you know? So it's like, you can't be blowing people up. Like, you've got to just, like, we had a category on Ridiculousness the other day. It's called Read the Room. You got to be able to read the room. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be able to, like, does this person like that I'm texting them this? Or, you know what I'm saying? Like pay attention to people's body language or responses via text, and, like, don't be annoying, because, like, I've seen so many people hurt their careers by being this annoying bugaboo. Like, to the point where people were like, don't let them in the party. Like, oh, they're always, like, they're so annoying. They're always trying to get in everything. It's like, you don't want to be known as that person. Like, you got to slide in the right way.
Slide in, and don't, just to piggyback off that, I remember this one girl, she was hanging out with, like, our group, and some of them are very successful, but she would write, like, a 10-page essay through Instagram of her life story, and it was, like, random, and it was, like, clearly she was working out stuff, but it also freaked people out, because it was like, what just happened? You were kicking with us, you were in the room, you were friends with all of, you know, this, but just scared us a little bit. You know?
No,
like, where did the life story come from?
That's funny.
But thank you so much for feeding me.
Oh my gosh.
A mess of the Eating While Broke table.
I definitely made a mess. I'm the worst at cooking.
And I'm not even gonna lie, like, I was trying to be polite and, like, save some on my plate, but I really wanted to finish.
No, I want to finish mine. We were just talking so much. I was like, I don't want to be, like, spitting out Tapatio. Like,
So, but thank you, Chanel West Coast, for feeding us and sharing intimate side behind the scenes about who you are. And, like, I'm so happy you came out and, like, spilled the tea. You're so real, and it's been really a blast.
Thank you.
So I'm Colleen Witt. This is Chanel West Coast, and we're eating while broke.
Yep.